maxed out, turned up, maxed out.
British Columbia, Canada, is actually working to decriminalize small amounts of cocaine and heroin.
Cocaine?
Yep. They're attempting. Well,
2.5 grams. Do they know how much that is? Like 2.5 grams
2.5
of cocaine is a
of
decent amount of cocaine.
yeah. It's also a lot of meth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are not small portions. I mean, if we're talking 2.5 grams of fucking weed, yeah, but let's talk about like harder drugs.
Yeah. It says bulk buying. Spread of fentanyl means many enchanted drug users carry more than 2.5 grams. So if you can go down a little bit, I want to flush this out just a little bit. We won't spend too much time on this, but British Columbia is set to become the first province to decriminalize possession of small amounts of illicit drugs. But drug users, advocates, and the provincial's province's chief coroner warned the threshold of 2.5 grams set by the federal government ignores the hard realities of how people buy and use drugs in the province. So
Yeah,
like,
might as well legalize the whole. Give me the whole 8-ball, then,
yes,
baby.
this is
Who sells
the
it by 2.5 grams? They're selling 8-balls.
They're selling big, and the thing is that if you get caught with psychedelic like mushrooms, that's still illegal.
Well, yeah, because that's going to get
still
your mind right and make you think different
penalized.
and become
That's
independent
correct.
from the
Yeah,
government.
you're going to start asking questions. You're right, and we can't have. Yeah, you're not going to be just some bug on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am hard, steadfast against not only personal choice, my friends, the concept of decriminalization. It's a facade. It's weak government. It's weak policy, and it makes people think positively about something that should be addressed a hell of a lot more seriously. The idea of decriminalizing something, just real quick, is the idea of making something not criminal. Full stop. It's still illegal, just like speeding or anything. Theft, some theft under 5,000, not necessarily criminal, but it's still crime. Still penalized by time in prison, can be, or penalized by a fine. Okay, so essentially you start penalizing people and you start fining them. So now the government just takes your money rather than addressing the problem. There's no policy, there's nothing. They just government or the politicians just push the matter to the courts. And in my opinion, it shouldn't be. It should be addressed. If you're going to decriminalize it, legalize it. And by legalizing it, you can regulate it. By decriminalizing it, you can only make it illegal, not criminal. So there needs to be more. It's weak government. And so if you're going to decriminalize something, you should just legalize it and regulate it, and what kind of regulations? Well, children shouldn't have access to it. You shouldn't have it next to, say schools or what have you. You can continue on with just those kind of regulations. Should it be sold at gas stations? No, I don't think so. So regulate it. Regulate
and that's the thing is this is just it is lazy government when you think about it, because instead of doing something to regulate it and control it, they're just going
They
to
do nothing.
hands off.
Yep.
And then instead of us paying money for people who are incarcerated, the people who would be incarcerated are paying the money, and those people usually don't have the money if they're doing hard drugs. So
that's it. So what's the point of having a
alternative.
fine? It's just a nasty circle. You're fining a drug addict hundreds or thousands of dollars when they can't afford it to begin with. So now they get into a tie with the system where now you've got unpaid fines. What do you got to do for that? You got to go to jail. You got to spend time in jail to pay your fines.
Put on probation and programs
and boom, you're back in the system. Back in the system. When in reality, people shouldn't be thrown in jail for this shit. They shouldn't be fined for this shit. They should be helped. There should be rehabilitation centers. There should be community outreach programs. There should be all kinds of shit that should be in place rather than decriminalization. It's just weak government.
Literally, man. It's just another proper example of how out of touch politicians are. Because they may in their mind think this is a better alternative. Well, we're not going to lock these people up. It's bad for them and it's bad for, the citizens who are paying the taxes. Yeah, well, what are we going to do? So we're going to fine them and charge them and keep them more poor?
Great.
And also endorse the fact that you can walk around with more drugs so you don't got to hide it?
Right.
Like, I don't know, man.
Good
when
work.
When it comes to hard drugs, like, that's one I can never be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Because look at all the people who eat bad food and tons of sugar and drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes because it's legal, because they're allowed to.
Yep.
So, I mean, people are dumb, man. We live in a society that's dumb. So we need a little bit of parenting, so to speak, for those who didn't have parenting.
A lot
That's
of
what
parenting.
government used
That's
to be the parent, and now they're like the controller
no,
and parent of everything.
they shouldn't be a parent. They should be a government,
No,
and that's just
but
it. It's like the thing is like, well, Pigeons, and what do you do then? Well, it comes down to you and I. It comes down to community. It comes down to family. It comes down to education. Teach your kids right from wrong. Teach your kids to avoid the streets and spend more time in school or in sports, reading, those kind of things, like eating healthy, exercising. Spend time with your children. That starts as number one. And if you've got a child in your community that's going through trouble or struggling in school, don't close your door to these children. I am a product of somebody who opened their door and could feed me, and they could offer me things, and so I'm thankful that I didn't get pushed away and fall into the cracks. So it's like that's what needs to happen, and
that's
and, and that's how you address
well, and that's the
social issues.
problem is it's not profitable to take care of people. So the
No,
government's never
not
gonna
really.
do that.
No, you lose a lot of fucking money taking care of people. That's
Yeah,
really how it is.
exactly. How do you make more money back? They don't think about the long term of like, oh, a good functioning society with valuable members of the community who, give back and help and do good things. Nah, that's not the point. But majority of people don't want to help themselves. So putting these programs out there is just going to be to avoid jail. You know, that's the
Mhm.
only thing they're going to do it for. So it's hard, man. When you're in that shit, when somebody's doing hard drugs, you can't really tell them what they're doing is wrong most times. Just like we're talking about with coffee. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm good.
It was a balance. It's like you have people. Some people just have to hit rock bottom, and where you have nothing, and
Yeah.
someday they're gonna realize that, and that's when they need the most,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
But if
And
there's nothing available, then that's the problem.
that's the problem, and that's why we need to be available. You know what I
Well, like
mean?
in
So make
America,
yourself.
I see commercials for this guy's like Chaz or something. He's in Florida, and he's like, "I used to be a drug addict. Now I'm not." Like that's his pitch, basically to
Mm.
get you to come down. And it's some like resort for drug abuse, and like
How
there's
much does
either like
that cost?
court ones that you have to go to, or like pay top dollar to go to these facilities. There's not a lot of stuff that's just like gonna help
Available,
you that doesn't feel like prison.
yeah,
You know?
and that's just available.
Yeah, just available. It's a part of because you pay taxes.
Yeah,
It's there. You
yeah.
know, it's
But
fucked, man.
anyways, what a great time to smoke some herb, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, we are live on both Twitch and on YouTube. We're going to be doing some YouTube streams, I think once a week, we said, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And yeah, confirmed. And we're also going to be doing TBL After Dark